The characters in this episode are going to be using a lot of magic, and sometimes I wish that stuff was real because it would be amazing to have the memory forgetting spell from Spider-Man so that I could forget that I had ever watched this awful series. Oh, and by the way, this is the dating episode of She-Hulk because apparently that was a thing that needed to happen. This episode is full of nonstop cringe and man-hating woke garbage. In other words, it's just like every other episode in the series. She-Hulk is bad. Episode 4. We open with a performance by a stage magician putting on an act. He is both unfunny and quite cringe. All of this is intended by the writers, as it's going to set up the desperation of the magician. With the audience bored and utterly disinterested, he is forced to rely upon using something that he probably shouldn't be, namely a sling ring from Carmartage. I can't help but notice the obvious parallels between this failed stage magician and the writers on this show, but what's truly funny about the situation is that the show creators are so unbelievably stupid, they are completely oblivious to the fact that they are just as untalented as this magician. To make things worse, the name of the magician is Donnie Blaze, which is most likely meant to be a joke and reference to the other Marvel character of Johnny Blaze, who's also known as the Ghost Rider. I'm sure one of the idiot writers thought this was funny. It's not. Regardless, the magician then calls a drunk lady up onto the stage and opens a portal to some demon realm using the sling ring, and then the scene cuts away to Wong, who's watching a TV show. This seems to be sometime later because the drunk lady falls out of the portal and drops a heart onto the ground. The scene then moves over to Jen, where she's breaking the fourth wall again, and talking about how it's great to have Wong back in the show, because everybody loves Wong, and she then hilariously says that having him in the episode is like giving the show Twitter armor for a week.
Oh god, this show is so bad!
This is fucking idiotic for a few reasons. First, it shows that the writers are prioritizing woke weirdos on social media instead of normal people who would be in the audience. Second, it gives away the fact that they are heavily relying on cameos. And third, it didn't even work because the show is the laughingstock of social media every single time an episode comes out because of how fucking awful it is. Sure, there are a couple of morons out there who actually try to defend this show, but they are greatly, greatly outnumbered.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
Later that day, Wong shows up at Jen's office and he complains about Donnie Blaze. Wong says that he is a failed magician and that he was kicked out of Carmartage after only a couple weeks. This sounds weird because Wong and the others are not referred to as magicians, they are sorcerers. It seems the writers don't understand the difference, which honestly doesn't come as much as a surprise.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Also, I would like to thank this episode for reminding us that the CGI in this series is still utter garbage. Wong wants to sue Donnie Blaze in order to stop him from using the magic of Carmartage, but Jen points out that it's going to be extremely difficult because they never made him sign any kind of agreement. Later that night, Jen and her secretary are at the bar discussing a variety of things when a guy approaches them, and it's the same stereotypical annoying guy that we've seen several times throughout the show already.
Oh, not this again.
The man-hating misandry of the writers is once again on full display, just like all the other episodes, but what's more pathetic is that it's the same joke, it's the same setup, and the same situation that they keep reusing again and again. Oh look, it's this toxic man, and he's rude and disrespectful to the womans, and oh, he's such a terrible person, and everybody laugh at him, and oh, womans, they have it so rough because they have to deal with these stupid, terrible men, and it's dumb, it's pathetic, it's unoriginal, and it's just lazy.
Professionals have standards.
Regardless, this prompts her secretary friend to ask about the dating profile that Jen has set up. She doesn't like it and suggests that Jen should create a new one, but as She-Hulk instead. And looking at For on a Good Day Jen, I think that's probably a pretty good idea.
Boom. Roasted.
The following day, Jen and Wong go to serve a cease and desist to Donnie Blaze, and the scene is dumb, and it includes a bunch of stupid jokes that are cringe and unfunny. It doesn't matter, let's move on. Later that night, Jen is on a date with someone who turns out to be yet another one of those stereotypical toxic man guys, and that's because the writers on this show are nothing more than one-trick retards.
To make sure that
The date ends up going badly, and the guy leaves, forcing Jen to pay the bill. As he's walking away, he answers a phone call, and the person on the other end asks about the date and if she was good looking. The guy then says that Jen is about a 6.
How about no?
What's ridiculous about this is that it's pretty obvious that the show creators are trying to imply that, oh, this guy's an idiot because he's saying that Jen's a 6 and she's actually much better looking than that. No. This is utterly absurd because the actress who's playing Jen is not a 6 and she's definitely not above a 6. As I stated in a previous video, she is at best 4 on a good day. Just in case I'm not being clear about this, let me emphatically state the obvious. The actress playing Jen is ugly. She is frumpy looking. Stop pretending that she is some sort of amazing catch because she's not. She is at best a 4 on a good day. Now, normally I wouldn't go after someone's appearance, but considering that this actress is a woke weirdo man-hating piece of shit, not just in the show, but also in real life, I really don't care.
Know your fucking place, trash.
Getting back to the show, the following day, they're in the courtroom going over some of the preliminary stuff, and the judge is not convinced that Donnie Blaze using magic could cause any serious issues. So Jen wants to call a witness. She has Wong open a portal, and the drunk lady steps through. She goes on the stand and we get a retelling of what happened when she went through the portal. She does this in an awful fake drunk voice, and it's just as cringe as you would expect. Essentially, she had to make a deal with the demon who eventually dropped her off at Wong's house. Donnie Blaze then makes the argument that the law has stated that magic tricks cannot be copyrighted. However, Jen and Wong argue that it's not stage magic, but instead real magic, and that this has very real and significant consequences. However, for some bizarre reason, the judge doesn't believe this, and she thinks that it's not all that serious, proving that she's a complete fucking idiot. Over the last several years in the MCU, many significant events have occurred that involved magic or things similar to magic, which includes the snap that removed half of the life on the planet. Not only that, but Wong just opened a literal portal in the courtroom. The fact that the judge is so stupid that she can't understand the difference between real magic and stupid tricks done on a stage is mind-boggling. But don't worry, it gets worse. Later that night, Jen is at home and gets an alert from her dating app, and she is disheartened to see that it says that she has no new matches. Feeling desperate, she creates a new profile specifically for She-Hulk, and within a minute, there are dozens of new matches. There's a quick montage of her as the She-Hulk going on a bunch of dates, and guess what? It's all a bunch of stereotypical toxic men. What a surprise.
I am shocked and appalled.
Eventually, she does finally get a date with someone who appears to be a good guy because he's not interested in anything about himself and only wants to know about her. It then moves over to Donnie Blaze, still using the sling ring in his magic act. However, this time when he opens a portal, he accidentally summons a bunch of demons that start running around the room and attacking people. He panics and goes through a portal to Wong's house to ask him for help. Wong then opens another portal to get She-Hulk from her house, but she's in the middle of the date with that guy she was just with, and they were starting to get intimate. Wong interrupts this so that She-Hulk can go and help with the demons, and I'm sure that the writers intended this to be funny, but again, it's just dumb. However, as Wong and Shrek are fighting the demons, they realize that for some reason they can't actually die, so they're forced to throw the demons through another portal into some frozen area in the mountains. I'm not exactly sure where this frozen mountain area is. It could be another realm, but it does look remarkably similar to the area surrounding Kamertage, which means that Wong isn't actually dealing with them, he's just kind of dropping them off near where he lives, and I don't know why he would do that. I don't know why he wouldn't just open a portal and send them back to the realm that they came from, because if he just kind of drops them off into the mountains, aren't they going to continue to be a problem? Aren't you going to have to deal with them again at a later point in time? Isn't there a possibility that they could go and find some other people to possibly harm? Why is any of this happening? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
It is a tale told by an idiot.
After they're done dealing with the demons, they're able to convince Donnie Blaze to stop using magic. So Wong sends Shrek back to her house, where the guy is still waiting for her. She picks him up and carries him to the bedroom.
You sure I should do this, man?
The next morning, Jen is in a great mood and she even cooks breakfast for both herself and the guy, but when he wakes up, he's confused. Jen has to explain that she is She-Hulk and that this is her normal form.
You came nothing? You're braver than I thought.
He seems kind of weirded out by this and turned off seeing the at best for on a good day Jen, so he leaves. Honestly, who can blame him?
I'm just surprised that he doesn't like you very much.
Suddenly there's a knock on the door and Jen thinks that it's the guy coming back, but instead it's a delivery man with papers that he is serving Jen as she is being sued by Titania over the use of the name She-Hulk. Then we get an end credit scene with the annoying drunk lady and Wong. I have to say, it's kinda depressing to see what this show has done to Wong, because he was actually a pretty decent character, and now they've just turned him into a joke. But thankfully, that's the end of episode 4.
Taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too on